Bum, bum, bum. It is Saturday, which could only mean one thing. It's time for Car Stereo Talk. That's right, the show where we take and answer some of your craziest questions about car audio and, of course, have a good time doing it. And that brings us to this, which is time to introduce your host, Fernando and Dean. Yeah! Woo!
Everybody claps.
It kind of hurt.
Everybody claps.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to the show. We hope you had a fantastic week. We hope you had a better week than we did.
Yeah.
It's just, some weeks suck. That's all I got to say. Some weeks suck.
Yeah.
But, hey, how's everybody doing? Fang made it. What's up, man? Hey.
What's up?
And he was the first. So I don't know what happened. I actually put it up like an hour ago. Apparently, I didn't upload it. Who knows? Hi, guys. So thank you for hi, Dave. Howdy, gents. Bobby is live from Disneyland. So, hello. Hola.
Hello.
Hi, guys. From Sydney, Australia. What is up? Hey, y'all.
What's up?
Basshead. Oh, that's cool. Car speakers love. Good.
Mm-hmm.
I love people that can figure out how to use emojicons for like useful stuff.
Yeah.
Other than sex talk.
Okay.
I mean, I feel that's like its thing. Anyways, congratulations. How is everybody doing today? I hope like I said, hope everything is going well. I got nothing else. It's just been one of those weeks, man. Like there's been nothing.
But it's finally the end of.
I mean, it gets to start over again next
week,
but hopefully it's nothing hopefully it's not like this week. Oh,
yeah.
God. Sometimes you have those moments, man. So
what do you do in those moments? You just sit down.
Well, I try not to
reflect.
Not to let it get to me, like, because I mean, you're gonna have. I don't even know what my phone is. You're gonna try to have you're gonna have these moments, right? You're gonna have these weeks where things just seemingly suck.
Yeah.
You just hope not to have a chain of seemingly suck. It's like you don't want to. It's like when one thing sucks, you don't want it to snowball into a whole bunch of things sucking. But this week just was one of those things where it just kept
one thing
led to another.
Yeah.
Sure. Where it just kept sucking. Hola.
What's up?
On a newer Explorer with a smaller screen, can that be changed to a double DIN head unit? No, not as of right now.
Well, how newer, right? Because if we talk about 2024, 2025, no.
But even still, like we're assuming that the okay. So give me the year.
That's Mike, what I'm saying.
Give me the year.
You might.
Yeah. That 911 install was $1,000. Yeah. Oh no, that was the Jeep. Yeah, Jeep last week. But actually, all right. That actually went fine. Like we knew that was coming. That actually worked out really well.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a lot of fun. So,
yeah.
Hey guys, if I have a 5-channel powering 2 front components and a single sub, if I want to add back speakers, do I need an amp, or will the 908 power the back just fine and fulfill sound? So 908 is a Kenwood 908. So this is actually one of our most favorite things to do. That sounds like a Little Caesars commercial.
Yeah.
The most bestest. So what you need to do is realize that you're going to have to go into the settings for the radio and do a little bit of an adjustment. There's 2 places where you can adjust this. The first one is in the time alignment under level control. So if you go to the rear, with the time alignment setting, you have to make sure you have it set up to one thing, whether it's the front focus, front, drivers, all, whatever, wherever it sits, and you're going to leave it there. If you use multiples, then you have to do it on each page. You're going to go into the level control, and you're going to turn them down all the way, just all the way to the floor, okay? Which isn't that far. It's only like 8 or 10 dB, something like that. But turn it all the way down, because what you have to do is you have to attenuate the rears so that the volume matches the preamp section, okay? Because what I mean by that is typically on a radio, you have the amplified output, you have the preamp section. And the preamp section is a nice linear output, meaning it starts at 0, it goes all the way up, and in a Kenwood, it never clips. And you have this nice linear action. However, when you tandem that with the amplified output, it's like this, and it's like I can't bend my hand. So what happens is it actually rails up faster, gets louder faster. It's not linear, and it's going to distort and clip way sooner. So what you have to do is you have to dial that down so that they run more in tandem, and they both end up at the same place. Now, you can also adjust it. Like I said, there's 2 places. So you can adjust it in the time alignment section as well as in the crossover section, because the crossover section also has attenuation.
Yeah.
Now, what I'll typically do is I'll start in the crossover section and see how far it needs to go, because sometimes you actually end up doing both. Like you'll bring the level down, and you'll still need to bring, depending on how efficient your rear speakers are, you may need to still bring them down so that they don't interfere with the front stage. But this works 100% of the time with the Kenwood radios. We love doing it because that way it allows us to put the 5-channel amp wholly on the front where it needs to be and use that deck power for something meaningful in life. Right? So there you go. Yeah. Wow, great question.
But answering your questions, yes. Amplifier on the fronts.
Well, there was a yes or no somewhere in there. My bad. What's up, Mary Lou?
Hey.
Yeah, I know. What the hell? You know. She's
on time now.
I know.
Finally.
I just figured she just didn't want to watch. You know.
Well, she doesn't want to watch anymore, or what?
Nah, she just shows up whenever she wants. She casually walks in the room. You know how she is. She's just like,
what up, people?
I'm here. What did you do in order to get the Kenwood 6903s in the Chevy? Ooh, good question. So this week we had a Chevy Silverado in, and we toyed with the idea of going, because we sold them the 6902s, and we really wanted the 6903s.
Because that's what fits.
Because I wanted the tweeter. Let's be honest. So on the 6903s, there are 2 tabs that come off of the 6903s. And now that we've done it, we'll probably make a video at some point showing how to do it. But the tabs come off. The tabs need to be cut shorter, which they are designed to be done. Okay, they are designed to be cut. So you cut them shorter. So basically what you do is there's an oval-ish shape, and you cut the top of the oval, and you remove that. And then what you need to do is put 2 45s on it, so that you grab me your piece of paper right there and a pen. I want to draw right there underneath your tape. Your truly paper. So I'm going to draw you a quick picture. So it's going to look, wow.
Up.
It's going to look something like this. Now, there is also a little tab area here that needs to be removed. There again, you just cut here, and then you take a little pair of like needle nose pliers, and you just do one of these rocky things. About the 3rd time, it snaps right off. And what you're doing is you're basically just bringing in the screw points closer to the speaker. Now, that's what you have to do to modify the speaker. Once you get that done, now you need a grinder. So the grinder that we use, I think you can get it at the cheap tool store. Looks like this. Looks like this, and it has one of these cool, Barbarian, which there again, this is all cheap tool store crap.
Barbarian.
Yeah, Gladiator. And what you have to do is you have to remove the portion of, you basically almost have to U it or see it. I think you have to see the hole. And I don't mean like with your eyes, I mean physically see the hole. And you're going to remove those 2 portions that are right there by the A-pillar. The A-pillar doesn't get in the way, and then you have to make the hole bigger. So you just have to go around a couple times, make the hole a little bigger, and just keep test fitting. And then there's, towards the front corner, there's this little standoff that's there. That has to be smoothed out, which you'll see as you're rounding the hole bigger, and which you can do with the ball head on that, which is really, so in other words, it's somewhat scary, but it can be done. Yeah. Everyone's going like, what the frick is this guy talking about?
All right, you want to put your
Oh yeah, first things first. Drop this in because we had Gary Bell on this week talking about AudioControl, and one of his favorite products that he got to work with is the AudioControl Altitude series amplifiers. We talked a lot about this. We also just did a dyno on the 800, 1.800 or 800.1, the 800 watt guy that put out a boatload of freaking power and looked really awesome. If you'd like to see that video, definitely check it out here on YouTube, as well as you can head over to audiocontrol.com and check out the full line of amplifiers and just be impressed. I can't wait to deal with the next one. I think we're going to do the 5-channel next. That'll be in a couple weeks. So pretty exciting. Anyways, audiocontrol.com. Boom. Next question.
Next question.
Wait, what did she say? LOL. No, I've just been busier than usual. I love you all. Oh, it's so sweet, Mary Lou. We gotta have you on, when you're feeling up to it. Anyways, Phil says, in an SUV, where is the best location for a downfiring sub box? Should it be placed as far back in the rear area as possible, or move closer behind the rear seat on the driver's side? The reality is it doesn't matter. Wherever you want to put it, in behind you, in front of you, under the driver's seat, in the back seat, it doesn't matter. You put it wherever you want. It's only going to put out so much bass, and the location really isn't going to change how much bass it's going to be putting out. Really what you want to just make sure is that it is up high enough off the floor. The kickers do come with new extra feet. They have a new 1-inch or half-inch extender to lift them a little higher off the floor, because they were sitting kind of low. So you just want to make sure, and then you don't put a bunch of stuff around it where it can't breathe. Other than that, it doesn't matter. I mean, we install them, we put lots of wires so they can move them wherever they want, because we understand that it's a lifestyle thing. They want bass, but they also want to put their groceries, their kids' soccer crap, and all that stuff in the car. So it doesn't matter. You're good. Right? Next. Hey, guys, have you ever or would you ever install custom speaker pods? So technically, yeah, I mean, sure. The thing is when it comes to that, it just depends on everything is a case-by-case basis, right? Like we got a gentleman that's going to be coming in a couple weeks. He was in this week. We're doing some finalization where he bought the aluminum or steel, whatever they are, pods from Europe so that we can put all these little eyeballs all over his car. And he's really excited about it. I'm not. I'm the opposite of excited about it. We've done it before. We did a Honda where we put a bunch of Piccolo Morel tweeters all over his car. He had $6,000 worth of Morel Piccolo tweeters in a Honda Civic. Some of you might remember that car. So it just depends. Now, if you're talking like big things on the side of the door where you're going to drywall screw them in, and there would have to be a conversation there that would make sense, because that's typically not what we do. It's not that we're against it. It's just typically not our speed. So we'd have to see what the whole thing is.
Totally against that. No, but yeah.
Well, what was your question? Your thoughts on using Class AB amps and Class D amps when and where best case installation scenarios? So this is a fantastic question, right? Because right behind us, we have a row of Mosconi Pro AB class amplifiers. We have the 1 Series right there. We have the Coppers from ARC. These are all AB class amplifiers, and they're all one thing sticks out right in your face. Mm-hmm. And then even that Macintosh way over there. The smallest amp on the wall is that 500 watt kicker, which is bigger than a lot of these because it's a Class D. So the question is when, where, what, right? 2 things. There's always more than 2 things. I just like to say that. One is budget, right? Budget is the most important thing. Like Morel does a good job of making affordable AB class amplifiers that sound really good and are AB class, like true, really nice amplifiers. They have a 5-channel that's an ABD, and then they have a 4-channel, and then they have the 45th anniversaries, which get big though. Okay. And even the 5-channels, big. So that's not going to fit every installation, but they're affordable. So, I mean, these are expensive. The 830, which ooh, sex, love that amplifier with all my heart. But it's $3,000, $3,500, somewhere in that range. I don't know. I'm not good at pricing. That's why we don't ever talk about it. So it comes with a price tag. The ones are definitely more price conscious. Now they do get hot too. which is another thing. Where are we going to put it? Is it going to have enough room to breathe? Is it going to get hot and shut off like in a spare tire well?
Yeah.
You know, it's going to get hot. It's going to get real hot. And so, you know, if you're playing it for hours on end, it might not be the best move. So really what it comes down to when we're putting a system together is I don't ever have at the front of my mind A, B, D or G or H or any of that stuff. I don't think about any of that. I go out to the car, I figure out where this stuff has to go. Like, where are we going to be putting this stuff? What room do we have set aside that I can put this equipment? And then, like, where do you want your subwoofer? And then how loud do you want it? And then from there, and like, what are you looking for? And then we kind of work our way through it. It's never a conversation point until the end. Like, let's say we got an F-150 where we have tons of room for everything. And it's like, okay, hey, you know, do you want a D-class amplifier or do you want an AB-class amplifier? And let me explain to you the difference. Like, if we can have the conversation and it's valid, then you have it. But otherwise, it just never really comes up. It's more, this is what we can fit. These are the tools you need. Go good to go, you know? So that's I guess my thought on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Kind of? Little? I don't know. We'll go with that.
There you go.
Okay. Hi, Scott.
What's up?
We're gonna go a little long on these. Let's go at 18. Thing. Am I wrong to be upset that I paid a shop $10,000 to do a whole system and they wouldn't show me how to work conductor or helix amp? What's the right etiquette? Dollars was for labor and DSP. I supplied all. I supplied all except DSP. So okay. So here's. I understand, but I don't understand. So like, I don't ever sit there and I'm not like, you're not. If you want to pay me, not for this. If you want like. So, all right, let's walk through a scenario of building a system. This is one of the things that we get thrown at all the time. When we negotiate a system and we come up with all the bells and whistles, and on that piece of paper is a list of everything that we're going to do. And sometimes someone will walk in. This is not you, and this is not your scenario. I'm just painting a picture. So they'll walk in and say, "Hey, since you're going to be in there, can you do this?" And it's like, no, because we weren't going to be in there. Or we're going to be in there, but we're going to be doing something else. And that's an extra amount of time that we're going to take. Just because we're in there doesn't mean I have to stop what I'm doing and then do whatever it is you want me to do and then go back to doing what I was doing. Like there's time there. So I'm going to charge you for that. Now, and what that means is that everything we do has a timed price. Now, if someone says to me, hey, listen, after you get done tuning the car, I'd really like you to take me in and show me the tune that you did. I'd say, okay, fine. And then I would like, hey, we need to add an extra hour to the install charge because I'm going to spend an hour when I'm done going through this. Now, that isn't to say I'm still going to take you into the car and do all the demo time and all that fun stuff because these are two different things that are happening. One is a demo in the car where we sit there and we listen to it, and I take you through all the bells and whistles, show you how to use the radio for putting a radio, show you how to use the conductor and how I set it up and what this color means and this color means and that color means. And usually I've asked you, hey, do you want white to do this, blue to do that, green to do this? What makes sense to you? Do you want blue to be Bluetooth and white to be regular? Or, you know, because those are all things that you can set up. And I don't want you to call me and ask me. I just want it to be like, here's how this stuff works. So that is an explanation at the end that is included in the price. But if you were to say, hey, show me how to use this DSP, then I'm going to be teaching you how to use a DSP. I'm going to bill you for that because that's time that is out of the scope of what we were trying to do. Not saying that's what you were trying to do, but if it was, that would have to have been factored into that price. Now, as far as not showing you how the conductor works, that's pretty, that sounds sketchy to me. Like, I don't know who it was, but I don't know of any of our friends that do this that would not show you how to use a conductor, especially if I sold it to you. Right. Like, I feel how are you going to know what it does?
Well, even if you buy your own conductor, we install it, so we have to set it up, and then we're going to tell you, okay, so this is the colors.
Yeah, I mean, I had to do that with a customer because it was the first conductor we put in. I had no idea how to use it. I had to call Jeff because the client at first says, I'll set up the conductor. And I said, okay, cool. You'll set it up. We'll install it. You can set it up. We'll just leave everything turned off on the conductor. Yeah. And then he came back like 2 weeks later and said, I can't figure out how to set it up. And I was like, okay, well, you didn't pay us to set it up. When we negotiated, you said you were going to set it up. So now you want me to figure out how to set it up. So, I called Jeff. We had to sit there. It was an hour and a half worth of setting this conductor thing up. And then I billed him for it. I said, this was, and he's like, why? Because this wasn't part of the quote. The quote was, you're going to do this. So it's funny too, because like we always laugh at like contractors for like, when you get your house worked on. Yeah. And it's like, hey, I need to change this. And they will immediately send you an updated revised bill. And you're just like, okay. But when we do that, they're like, whoa. It's like, you just changed something. They're again, not your story. I'm just giving you examples of how our world works and trying to maybe try to relate to these people. But I can't, because the most important thing when I'm done is I'm going to walk you out to the car, regardless of what you paid. I don't care what you paid. I mean, if you need help, I'm going to show you. Even Paul, when somebody gets a radio, Paul will go up there and pair up your CarPlay or Android Auto and show you where the volume knob is and where the USB is. And that's about the extent of it. Yeah. But at least it's something.
And I feel most of the shops, like they're not going to go deep into, the set it up or how to use the DSP, because in the end of the day, that's how you pay them to set it up, to actually make them work.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I won't, it's part 2. I won't bore you with the story, but trust me, I get all you said. Owner screwed me when I did whole deal with installer, with the MIA when I picked it up, I think you need to find a new guy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Sorry, man.
Hey, listen, you're welcome. It sucks.
Yeah.
And like, I feel everybody knows how I feel about this. It's like, I hate doing 911s. I know you guys love 911s. Other people's misery typically makes people happy. It's just how we are in life.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brad. You're actually right on time. We were getting ready.
You're right on time.
Cutting your promo here in a second. I hate it when somebody has a bad experience in my chosen profession, because like we put a lot of care and a lot of thought, and trust me, we had a miserable week this week. And the last thing that I want to do is come on and it's like, and reflect that in my crappy week. This is actually a break for us, because it's like, as crappy as the week we had, we get a bunch of fun loving guys that are going to come on here and put us in a good mood. So I get to go home in a good mood, not think about the rest of the week. So, which is fantastic. So, but when somebody screws somebody over, it's like, man, like, come on, like, it's a small community. We're not, we really, every customer matters. And if you're a retailer and you can't get that, then there's a problem. Yeah. Okay. There really is a problem.
Well, because it affects the whole entire industry, right? Just not for us.
Now keep in mind, some people come in with some really dumb ideas. I don't want any part of that. I'm gonna be like, thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
So I mean, the right to refuse is still there, because your poor life choices do not need to reflect on me. I don't want any part of that shit. None. So you can take your crazy and just walk on. But with that being said, hey, do you have a motorcycle, maybe a Harley Davidson?
I do.
And you're like, oh my gosh,
I don't.
I want to put a system in it. Well, guess what? Now you can. You got that new. We have the new 23.5 plus Harley Davidson motors. Motors. Yeah, they got motors in them. The new bypass module is available to allow you to take out that other amplifier and put this one in with your PSM Pro. Doesn't that kind of look like a robot, like a scary, like, doesn't that look like a skull? Like the teeth and the 2 eyes?
Yeah.
And that's part of the Moto line. So that's the PSM Pro. And of course, your adapter to, anyways, if you're interested in making your bike sound amazing, go over to arcaudio.com and type right here in the motorcycle category, and you can check out all the cool things that they have available for you, because they just came out with the brand new Moto 800 series amplifier, which is even bigger than the 720, which is bigger than the 600 before it. So they keep making the products better and better and better, and that's what we love about Arc Audio. Other than, Brad likes fries and I like fries, and that just makes
bigger is better.
Bigger is always better. So check them out at arcaudio.com. And of course, if you want
coppers,
AB class amplifiers,
well, they say you have to use 100% copper all the time. So here we go. That's what you need to use, guys, right there. 100% copper. That's it. There's no other way.
God, dude, that was great. That was great. That was so out of left. That was so great. Oh my God, good job, Fernando.
I mean, it was.
You got to use them. You got to use them.
So
are Fernando's tweeters
they
in
are.
the A-pose?
They are in the.
Yeah.
They are in the. Pillars.
I mean, we just came out with a video. Like we showed you how we did them.
Yes.
Yep, they're in the A-pillars. We haven't made new A-pillars. We're still using the existing Dre A-pillars that we built. But yeah, they're in there. I'm leaning towards the sail panel as well. Yeah, so we got lucky. We just ordered them.
Yes.
So, of course, when we had to do the Mercedes the other day, we had to make A-pillars to put the 2.5s in.
Mm-hmm. That was fantastic. That was, dude. That was great. I was excited. See, those type of jobs I'm excited about because it's just.
You like watching me sweat?
No, it's just it's a break from the regular things that we do.
Okay.
It's something new.
You just like watching me just sit there and think really hard. Do you guys do a great job combined? Auto integration, sound engineering, and auto mechanics. Thank you for taking pride in your work and this channel. Hey, thank you guys for watching us, because in the end of the day, if it wasn't for you, then we wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be here. We'd be at home enjoying our time off. Didn't we tell you? Yeah. Dude, he's not wrong. It actually copper-clad aluminum. You guys lied to me. This is 100% copper-clad aluminum. Oh, damn, Brad. That was good. Oh, you guys are just hitting out of the park. I'm going to take a break, man. Y'all just take over the show. It's rose gold. Yes, the color, it looks beautiful. Rose gold. So, and if you don't know, you should go check it out. You better ask somebody. Oh, wrong. Just buy one. So you have it. Oh, you guys are the best. Okay. Okay. All right. Give me something. Give me something. All right. Have you ever installed 212s behind the back seat in a third gen Tacoma 1623? Is it even possible? I know 210s are the most popular for that setup. Thank you in advance. So the reality is like a Tacoma, if we want the loud box, we get the Fox acoustics box, the Fox box for it, which is 210s, I believe. And they have two different ones. They do have two different ones. So make sure you get the right one. Yeah. So I think the problem you run into is what is the problem? The height of the I think that was the motor. The magnet? No, the motor of the motor? What do you mean? Oh no, what I'm saying is I think the problem with going to 212s is that the I don't think you have the height. Like I think it kind of yeah, I know. I'm there. It's right there. So yeah, I think what you run into is that the height of the box gets in the way of the seat. Like trying to put the subwoofer up higher, like you figure it's going to go all the way up another 2 inches. I just don't think you have the room. Because I mean, these do have to come off. You have to take these off. Those have to come off. Like, but that's the motor that I'm talking about. Yeah. That's this. Yeah. But his box, that's the thing. You have this big metal brace right here. Yeah. Why can't I click on that? No, you just expand I'm trying to. It won't do that. It's not doing it. It's just staying put. But anyways, his box. So when you have this right here, this big metal brace, that's part of the problem. Is that his box has to L around that. So, and any box you build has to be L'd around that. El Dorado. So I think that's more the problem. You just don't have the room. So, just get a saw and cut the whole thing out. Gately has it too, yeah. I mean, Gately does have a box. Now, the other option would be to move the seat forward. Just move the seat forward. Just get brackets, move it forward. I mean, if you really want them, destroying the structure of the car, man. If you really want them, if you really want to, really want. All right, give me another question. All right. Stop searching. Do your job. Come on, man. What the heck? Here you go. Pay attention. When you guys were talking about the 6x9 shaped subwoofer, remember the Polka Audio version that had 2 of them in an isobaric configuration? I think it was their answer to bazookas in a small space. Painfully old, I think, is really what it's called. Yeah, there again, this is one of those ideas that's been around for a while. if you look at like Land Rover actually had one of those from the factory. And if you look at the new F-150s with the BO system and the new Toyotas with the JBL system, they're all using a rugby ball shaped subwoofer. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe what's old is new again. We're just going to bring back a bunch of these old weird shaped subwoofers, and life will be great. I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember it though. If that was the question. So you good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next one.
Okay.
It's okay, man. Going three-way on swizzle sticks. Going three-way and around. Sounds like fun. Mounting the mid-range in the dash. Where would be the best place to mount the tweeter and the sail panel or the A-pillar? So in the factory, they do it in the door, which apparently you don't want to do. I would say, okay, either the A-pillar or the sail panel would be fine. It's going to get the job done. If you can get it into the A-pillar, obviously moving the soundstage as far forward as possible widens the soundstage a little bit. So I kind of like that more so than not. It just depends on how crazy you want to get. The sail panel will work fine. It might be easier to do, but yeah. So whichever one's easier, I'm going to go with, because the result will probably be about the same. I hope not. Woofers should be round. Strongest shape. Except for square. Square is even stronger, man. That's why blocks are, rectangles.
Yeah, that's why.
I don't know. 3.5 should have tweeters.
Whoa.
Boom, take that, Brad.
Wow.
3.5 should have tweeters.
You're not going to get French fries next time, bro.
Doing it for years, man. I know. He's like, you need to come spend a day with me so I can tell you why 3.5 shouldn't have tweeters.
Oh, I'll see.
And then I just go,
boom.
And then
what do you think about that?
And I go, Kenwood C3. Boom. I have a 2020 Jeep Compass with the Uconnect system. Is there a stereo replacement, or am I stuck needing a line output converter? That is a wonderful question. Now, a lot of you guys ask these questions, and Fernando is going to hurriedly try to find an answer for this. But for the rest of you out there that are like, what do I do? So the information that we are going to search really quick is right here. So we're going to pack-audio.com, maestroidatalink.com, metroonline.com, and then Nav TV, Mobridge, our interfacing Spiral is for German cars, and BeatSonic is for some Lexuses and stuff. But these are all the places that we are going to scour through to try to figure out, can I do anything in that car? I don't even remember what car it was.
The Jeep Compass?
Oh, Jeep Compass. So Fernando will do that. So I'll just go here and go.
You say 2020?
Yeah, it's a 2020. I'm gonna while he's doing that, I'm gonna answer another question. We'll circle back around. Hey guys, would it be bad to use a Pico 900 watt at 1 ohm and a AudioFrog GB10D2, which is 500 watts at 1 and 4 ohm?
I mean, those don't sound bad.
So here's the thing. Regardless of wattage, okay, just take that out of the equation for just a minute, okay? We're dealing with the sub 1,000 watt category here. We're not talking about, warhorse amplifiers and subwoofers. We're talking about normal world stuff, okay? So let's put it into that category. The reality is most of these woofers, and especially with those amplifiers, they all work together well. The most important thing out of all of this is understanding the output of the woofer is always going to be fixed, and it doesn't matter how much power you put to it, it's not going to change, okay? So setup, in this case, is the most important thing. Getting your crossover, getting your gain set up right, and then also taking into consideration that this is all the woofer will put out, and it won't put out any more. So don't try to ask it to do anything, and you're fine. We overpower subwoofers all the time. We overpower everything all the time.
That's wrong.
But it's knowing its limitations is what is the most important thing.
Set it up, right?
Setup is key.
Yes.
Setup is key. So this will work fine. It's setup, making sure that you don't do anything silly. So, that's it. How we doing?
So
if you click on them and install it on the bottom.
I find the Metro one.
Oh, Metro. Hold on, let me jump over to here.
So
let me hide this. Boom. Okay.
So you didn't hide it at all.
Oh, my bad.
It's right there.
My bad.
So Metro makes.
Radio integrators package for Jeep Compass.
Yeah.
Oh, grab your sheet, the Kenwood sheet.
My sheet.
Grab the Kenwood sheet for the direct replacement.
Sheet or sheet?
Sheet.
Or sheet.
Yeah, that one.
This sheet.
Yeah. Let's see if we have direct.
Sheet.
All right. So let's see if we can do this. Chevrolet, GMC, Dodge. Dodge. Is it Jeep? We said Jeep, right?
Yes, sir.
Gladiator, Wrangler, Cherokee, Jeep, Compass. Oh, 2017 to 2022. Woo!
There you go.
Jeep Compass, direct replacement from Kenwood, coming your way. Actually,
most Compass.
It's on the last page. Keep going.
I'm in right here.
Yeah, it's literally the first thing. Yeah. So yes, your Jeep Compass will be part of the direct replacement.
So hopefully you have the 5.
The 5, the 7, or the 8.4. That's pretty much all of them.
Yes, pretty much all of them.
So if you have any one of those, then you're going to need the FL. It's going to be the float mount kit. So it's going to be the float mount radio. So you'll need the FLCH2.
With a kit APX FLCH2.
I just said 8.
Oh,
that's
you didn't say
I said yes. I don't need to. It's the FLCH2. Anyways.
Yeah.
So if you go over to Kenwood.com or JVC.com.
JVC, yeah.
The float mount radio will fit in there.
Go to the website and you will find there.
And those just started shipping. I don't know. You got one. Anyways, boom.
Perfect. You love Kenwood, so there you go. Win-win.
Yep. And if you go Kenwood will have. So in the Exelon line, they'll have the float mount with the toss link. In the regular Kenwood line, they won't.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because in the regular Kenwood line, is there? No, there isn't. So in the Kenwood line, you only have the Exelon float mount. The JVC got the entry level float mount. Yeah, because there was something weird about that. It was the float mount. Because in Kenwood, you get the 8-inch entry and the Exelon. Yeah. But the float is yeah. Anyways, yeah. Anyway, JVC is just as cool, and you get VU meters.
It is.
You get,
and then you get the
spinny.
What is it called?
Spinny.
No.
Yeah, spinny. I don't know. Anyways, got it. Thank you so much. Local shop gave me a solid price for a Pico. We'll look into best route to set up gains. So far, I've learned to use an oscilloscope multimeter. So keep in mind, remember, just because you can turn something up more doesn't mean you have to. You should always use your ears as your final judgment, okay? Because you might get it all set up and the meters all look great. And you turn up and it goes back. It's like, no. So turn down. So, but yeah, those two work good. But just remember, always trust your ears. Lots of work went into making square cones work. You gain some cone area, but at the expense of mass. Now, is he talking church? I feel like we're talking church.
Like mass.
I think we're talking mass. Go with God. Dominus forgiveness. Dean, Fernando. Do I pick up box and mount down with feet like a downfiring enclosure? Can a pickup box and yes, you can mount anything down that you want. Like when you buy it, like for example, Kicker, all the boxes come with these metal brackets, so if you want to screw it to the floor, you can. I have a really hard time screwing to the floor of any vehicle. I don't recommend it because unless you go underneath and see what it is, but usually it's kind of a bad idea. But whatever works, there are plenty. But yes, you can make L brackets or overly complicated things. But yeah, anything can be screwed down. For sure. Oh, Brad's making excuses for things. He says, hey, I'm an SQ guy. The squares have their place. Great cone area, lower FS, and they make volume. This guy, look, he's got like 415s in his car. I don't know when he's talking SQ, man. He's a basehead and he knows it. He's over there like, I want this to rock the world. Rocking my Kenwood 9907 XR at 16.2 volts for nearly 3 years. Can absolutely beat on daily. Love that unit. Wow.
Fantastic.
That is fantastic. Oh, shoot. Thank you.
Thank you, Fang.
Fang is on point. I love Fang. And let's do this. This next segment is brought to you by the fine folks at focal-america.com. If you're looking for speakers for your ride because you're just like, oh my God, I want my car to sound amazing, head over to focal.com. That's right. They do make amplifiers. A lot of people are shocked to find out they do make amplifiers. They make some really nice, compact, small amplifiers that work really well, but they're mainly known for their speakers. Check them out at focal.com. Check out the slate fibers. Just for a homework assignment, if you have never checked them out, check them out. Just go learn. We all have to learn.
You're going to learn today.
I mean, you can if you want. Oh, good question, Steve. How come Kenwood stopped making DSP amps or a standalone DSP? There's a really simple answer for this. Do you want to know what it is?
What is it?
Because y'all couldn't figure this crap out. You never bought them. It's really what it comes down to. That's all it is. You didn't buy it.
Too early.
Listen, Japanese are real simple. If you don't buy their stuff, they stop making it. And they never make it again. Ever. Never. We're done. We're out. No, you didn't buy it. What about, no, we're not going to do it. But hey, no. Now, to be fair, let's be honest. Let's think about this. This is a conversation Fernando and I have a lot. Because, all right, there is only so many hours in the day to learn DSP, whether you're a professional or you're a stay-at-home mom, okay? Because there's a lot of DSP, all right? And let's say, like, Arc makes Brad's DSPs, the Arc DSP, which we're intimate with. Moscone, these guys, which we're very intimate with. I'm not fully up to speed on Helix. I still have to call Jeff every now and then just to get through the setup because doesn't make sense to me, but they do have the new 6.0, which apparently is so much better. So I'm looking forward to that to get more advanced on that one. And of course, Audison, another one we get to play with. Now, there's 4 DSPs that we use. AudioControl could do it in my sleep. Okay, like literally do it in my sleep. It's burned into my eyeballs. Okay.
You can?
Oh yeah, I could describe the whole software just in my brain.
What is in the bottom left, in the bottom right corner?
Dude, seriously?
I'm just
20 hertz, 20,000 hertz. Anyways, so my point is, as a retailer, we're an exception to the rule because you guys like to use all this stuff. So we feel we need to know how to use it so we can answer your questions, be more informed, and take you through it. Now, that's not even taking in like Down for Sound and Alpine and JL Audio. Like I know how to use JL Audio's DSP. It's not real hard.
Hertz, Audison.
Yeah, Hertz. You know, we said Audison. But my point is, there's all these DSPs, right? Mm-hmm. And as a retailer, it's hard to it's hard enough to learn one, let alone 5. Okay, so the Kenwood was actually really basic. Like it was really cool. It was like a 3-band EQ, parametric on each channel. There was 2 settings you had to do. You had to set it up for the car. Once it knew the car, then you could go in and adjust it, and you did it all on your phone. And it took like a half hour. Like it was really easy to set up their software. It was really cool. All right. And that's how it has to be. Like it doesn't have to be overly complicated. It needs to be simple because Kenwood knows they're not going to go head to head with an Arc Audio. Okay. They're not going to win. They're going to get their asses kicked. But they still want to be able to sell these things. Now, right now, they look at it and go, why do we need to make a DSP? How are we going to compete with these guys? Mm-hmm. Like, what are we going to do that's different? Nothing. So do we just need a DSP to have a DSP? Because there's like 10 fanboys out there that would buy it?
Yeah.
No. And then they go, all right, well, what do we need to do to make a DSP? And immediately when you ask one of us, it's like, you got to do all these things. You got to make this DSP. And it's like, no. Hell no, don't do all. No, because you made it so complicated. It's no one's gonna buy it. We don't need another $1,000 DSP, you know. So until like look at Alpine. Okay, Alpine's a prime example. This is their DSP. You put it in the car and then you wave your phone around and magically it sets itself. And then you go, oh, that's tragedy, and you do it again. And hopefully at one point when you're waving your phone around in there, you wave it around enough and you get what you want. It's no way to run a DSP, okay? I don't care what you're talking about. It's not practical. It might work for some, but like understanding how something physically works. So now from there again, from a hobbyist point of view, if you buy one DSP, if like, I'm going to buy this DSP, you're going to learn that DSP, you're going to get involved in it, you're going to spend your time in it. But from retail, we need to move through cars. So understanding one DSP and being proficient in it is what makes the most sense. Now, manufacturers are kind of leaning into this. Like, hey, if you buy our DSP, we'll show you how to use it. And we'll give you support and we'll do all this because they know that it's like the alarms were back in the day, everybody used Viper. And you couldn't get anyone to sell anything other than Viper because the installers were all trained on blue is this, green is that, white is this, brown is this. Okay. And they could speed through it. So a DSP is kind of like that. So if you can get an installer or a retailer to get behind one DSP, let alone 6, that's an amazing feat. So we don't need Kenwood to come out with a DSP is really the moral of the story because it's not going to do anything that any other DSP doesn't do. And it's probably not going to do it as well as all these other DSPs.
And now I feel like as consumers, if you, for example, in the future, Kenwood decides to come out with a DSP, if they're not going to make a DSP that is compatible or like, no, not compatible, but it's like in the competition with Arc Audio, Focal, Mosconi, and all these guys, everybody's going to be, oh, this is trash. You know, this DSP is trash.
I can't do this feature. This is
so
trash.
It's like, why? Why you put the effort? Just put the effort in what they're doing right now on the screen.
Because some people do, just not enough to make sense. So the reality is as much as we'd love Kenwood and Sony and all these guys to come out with DSPs, we really don't want them to.
Just let the big guys
unless
deal with
they're going to do something that is 180 different. You know, like they need to come out with something that is unique to them, and then that would be a viable sell. And don't get me wrong, there are some really cool features that like simple DSPs work. Like, you know, Kicker has the new EQ in the 5-channel amp. And for some applications, that's enough. That's perfect. Like it'll do what you need it to do. So there's things that they could be doing that they could step back into this program and make it make a lot of sense. It's just a matter of them deciding to do that. I don't think they are. I think they're sticking to their core business, which is radio replacement. And now that we have direct replacement, that is gonna reinvigorate that thought process there. Do any DSPs have to the degree phase control?
Degree phase control? Like switching phase? Like,
I mean, yes, there are some. I mean, if you're talking like,
well, phase and polarity are totally different.
Correct, but if you're trying to do a phase shift on, check out Mosconi. It has phase C, which allows you to do a phase shift. I think the JL Audio will do it when you're hooked up to the Max.
Yes.
Allow you to do a phase shift. But if you're just trying to like type in numbers, Mosconi, you can do that in the last band of the parametric EQ under the phase C tab. You can type in and it'll tell you what to put. So, like, if you need to put it at a 270 degree out of phase with the mid-range.
Okay. So you're talking about
exactly. No, he's talking about phase. Polarity is simple. You're just going 180 back and forth, 0 to 180. So if we're just talking about flipping from 0 to 180, every single DSP has that.
Yes.
But if we're talking about like I need to just do a phase shift on a speaker, then that's a whole nother animal.
Yeah, but like you're just talking about between 0 and 180.
And every stop in between? No, I know. But yeah, every DSP has the ability to change between 0 and 180. And that's more of a polarity issue than anything. That's just because the speakers need to go a different direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the real difference? Not the fake difference. We want the real difference between audio control, DSR1 access, and the higher end stuff, Helix, Arc, Clayton. So the DSP chip is one of the biggest differences between all of them. Okay, meaning what DSP chip are you using? Because there's a good, better, best. Okay, then there's the design of the product, meaning there's like Brad's yelling at the camera right now. Where do I start? There is a lot that goes into making sure that when you make there's the clock. Okay, there's the clock inside of the DSP that makes sure everything tracks and moves the way it's supposed to. There's on-chip DSPs, there's off-chip DSP, meaning the all-in-ones, separate pieces. There's a lot of things that go into making a DSP, and that's just on the hardware side. The hardware can go crazy, right? Like, so for example, a best example of this, there's a company called Longhorn, and I don't mean the steakhouse. I think it's Longhorn, right? Isn't it Longhorn? Or Goldhorn, not Longhorn, Goldhorn. So there's a company called Goldhorn that makes hardware.
The food or the amplifier?
Goldhorn, the DSP,
amplifier,
the
yes.
DSP.
Yes.
So Goldhorn is a company that makes high-end DSPs. And what's high-end about them is the hardware. The hardware is all
60 channels of DSP.
Overly built, badass, like
beautiful
DA converters and all the things, all the little trinkles. Software-wise, they use the same software that DS18 uses. Okay. But their hardware is 100% better. So there's two aspects of a DSP. There's the software side of things, is how do I interface with this? How do I use it? And then there's the hardware side of things, meaning is this thing actually going to sound good once I get done with it? So when you break these things apart, like AudioControl makes their software. Okay, they have engineered their software through a third party that builds it for them, and then they pay for it. It's unique to them. And then DSR1, they made their software. They've already had it. They built it off of the 360 kernel. It's a different software, but there again, it's a little tiny magical box. Access, I don't know where they got their software from. Now, there again, it's the hardware part, though, that makes these things sound better, okay? So if I'm using an access piece or if I'm using an arc piece and I do similar adjustments, I will notice a difference immediately between, like if I was just to do basics, like here are my crossover points, here are my fixed points in time for time alignment, and here's my crossovers. Mm-hmm. Not even getting into the EQ. I guarantee you I'll be like, there's a difference. 100%. 100% there's a difference. Not that one is better than the other. That's just it. But they're different things. One is going to cost you $1,800. One is going to be part of an interface which costs $500. So if I got $1,200 more to do a better job, I'm going to do a better job. So in the DSP world, the more money you spend, the better the product you're going to get, 100%. And there's a lot of little things that go into it that make that do that.
Okay.
I mean, it's because I hang out with you, Brad. I mean, I hang out with all you geeks that know this stuff. I mean, prime example of this. The other day we had the 2025, or we had a Chevy Silverado in here that we used the access piece to integrate into it. It was the X, means it has the full DSP that they have. Mm-hmm. Software on it, I wanted to kill myself. Okay, it sucks so bad. But there again, if you've never used anything else, it's fantastic. Okay. I've used everything else, so I know how bad it sucks, okay? And that's just me using it. It's not that it sucked. It's great software. It does all kinds of cool shit. But knowing of all the other software I can use, using this it's like, ugh, okay? But it's fine. I got where I needed to be, just like anything else. Now, I was listening to it, and I was like, there's weird stuff going on. And I'm like, And I could tell it was in the crossover. Like I could just, like the speakers weren't performing the way I wanted to. I was getting some stuff in there, and I was like, you know what? We were using the Kicker 7-channel amp. I was like, let me use their crossover to do this instead of the Access crossover. And immediately I went in, I turned on all the crossovers on theirs, and I turned off all the crossovers on the Access piece. And it was like, oh, damn, night and day difference. Solved all my issues. Now, I could have gone back into the access piece, like if I didn't have access to that kicker, and probably bumped my crossover points up higher, and that would have fixed the issue. I just put a better crossover there, and that solved my problem. So there again, like we use tons of DSR1s. We've probably used more DSR1s than Rockford sold DSR1s, it feels like. I love the piece. It's fantastic. I feel like if you need to have something that works from your phone, that piece is the best interface for that, So, and like I said, audio control I can do in my sleep. And ARC, Brad spends countless hours staring at the software going, I wish Dean would stop mentioning this stuff because now I have to figure out how to do it. And I go, ha, 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 ha. Anyways, Pioneer NEX 1770 crossover settings for front high pass, rear high pass sub, all the good stuff. And Hertz, what's the best setup for better sound and results? So when we're just doing front rear sub, there's some tried and true things that we set up, right? Like we'll just be like, let's just do this. Because they're I'm not going to use the term basic systems, but they're the everyday systems. Most speakers are going to sound really good at 12 dB crossovers. Most radios just have they use Butterworth crossovers. So a 12 dB Butterworth crossover is fantastic. You put it at 80 Hertz for the front, 110 for the rear, and then 80 for the subwoofer. And you're usually right, and it sounds great. Every now and then, what you might want to do is there's usually for the sub, there's 180 polarity switch. And if you feel for some reason your subwoofer is grounding in the back, sometimes you flip that, and it'll be like, oh crap, and it'll move up, and you'll get bass more forward. We'll just say that. But those crossover points are where we start every time we put a radio in, and yeah. Now, if you feel like if you're a bass head and you're like, I'm a bass head, and you're like, I really like that 80 Hertz crossover point, then you might want to go up to the 24 dB crossover point because that's going to remove more of the sound below 80 Hertz because it's going to take it from this steep to this steep. And I think you can even go even steeper, but 24 is usually good. Focal Tesla and Size have treated me right with the Alpine Tesla amp. Sounds amazing, and I've had great review on my system. Glad I went Focal. Ryan, thank you so much for telling us how that went. To me, that's like my perfect combination is doing that Alpine amp and the Tesla with the Focal inside speakers because I know I can get great results, and that Alpine amp is fantastic for the Tesla. Ooh, like anybody that has a Tesla that needs an amp, just buy the Alpine, man. That thing is, Alpine didn't have anything to do with it. So just they bought the company that made it. So they haven't managed to screw it up. So definitely get that amp. It's so cool. And it's like, yeah, I love that. That thing is so neat. Can you tap wire after Infinity amp in a 2009 Dodge with output for a D61200, or do I need to cut the wires? Basically, can I run output from AudioControl amp into factory amp outputs replacing speakers? Greg, that's a fine question, and the answer to it is no, you can't. So if you have a factory Dodge system with an amplifier in it, even though it's a 2009, that factory amplifier is a full DSP, EQ, got crossovers on it, good to go amplifier. It does specific things. Fortunately for you, PAC, as well as everybody else now, makes an interface for that, PAC Amp Pro. Okay, just go to pac-audio.com, type in your make, model, and year, and you need an Amp Pro is what you need for that. The Amp Pro is going to give you a set of RCAs that are going to be a full bandwidth, no EQs, no crossovers, because they're going to talk to the car's data bus system, and they're going to get you that signal out that you can then put into your amplifier and do whatever you want with. Now, you could sit there and go, well, I have a DSP in my amplifier, so I can fix anything. And I'd be like, yeah, no, you can't. Not with that amplifier. It really doesn't have the tools to do that. Nor would you want to, because we all know that the Amp Pro works fantastically. So there's absolutely no reason not to use that. The only other option would be take out the factory radio and put a new radio in it, which is a good option too. And it's 2009. So that would be the option I would lean towards, is putting a new radio in the car. But don't try to integrate into that amplifier without anything other than an Amp Pro or a radio, because you're going to be disappointed. So it'll be sad. It'll be sad. It'll be a sad day. Sad day. I have an Altitude AudioControl amp, and I'm using the audio setting to turn it on, but it seems to have a mind of its own. Am I making a mistake? Should I be using remote turn-on wire on? Okay, so yes, the audio sucks. Don't use that ever. I think we even say that in the video we just did. Don't ever use that setting. Audio sense sucks. You either want to use GTO or run your own wire to it. Now, if you're going, I don't know, so GTO stands for great turn on. It's looking for a DC offset, meaning it's looking for 6 volts. Now, if you have a digital multimeter that you have access to, you can test real simple to see if you can use the GTO circuit by unplugging the high level plug out of the amplifier, taking your digital multimeter, putting it to DC volts, putting the black terminal to the ground and taking the red terminal and going to the positive output of any one of the speaker wires that you have. Specifically, you want it to be in channel 1 or 2. Okay, that's all of them will have it, but you want to test 1 or 2. So the gray or the white, no stripes. And see if your meter says anything around 6 volts. If it does, turn it to GTO. Okay, that's what it's designed to do. Now, if you're like, this is all frustrating, well, then put it over to 12 volts and run a remote turn-on wire. But never use audio. It's a nightmare. It does. It has a mind of its own. You shut the door, it turns the amplifier on. Because it's looking for audio, which means it's looking for AC. And when a speaker moves, guess what it does? It makes AC. So, yeah, it's crazy. Oh, what's up, Victor?
Victor.
Paul has not talked to me about anything. But that's okay because you know what time it is? It's time to end the show. I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors, which are AudioControl, Arc Audio, Moscone, Gladen, and Focal. That's right. If you need any of your audio needs, those are the people that support us. So, you know, it's nice for you to support them. If you didn't catch earlier this week, we did have Gary Bell on from AudioControl, aka Stinger, talking about some of the cool. We showed a new Epic Series subwoofer that's coming out shortly. And of course, if you want to know more, you can head over to dnftooldrawer.com. That's dnftooldrawer.com. If you were like, oh man, I didn't get the cool, thing that Arc Audio did. This guy, remember this? Yeah. It's on the tool section. It's on the measurement tool section on DNF Tool Drawer. So if you'd like to download that, you can. And of course, if you'd like to pick up your IRTA2, which is a 2-channel electrical RTA, you can go there. Or if you want to get your keychain, we still have keychains available for $10, shipped right to you. No questions asked. You pay the $10. It goes in an envelope, comes out to you, and you can be rocking the cool 5-star keychain. That's right, with the wire ruler, and of course, Fernando's famous catchphrase of "on to the next one," but you have a pocket ruler, baby. Yes, insert pun here. Everyone thinks that's so funny. It's kind of weird. But hey guys, thank you so much as always. Without you, there wouldn't be an us, and it's what we like. Reminder tomorrow is Mother's Day. Enjoy. Yes, I'm double booked. It's like I have my dad tonight, and I have my mom tomorrow. They're divorced, so it's great. But I will be spending the day with mom tomorrow, doing neurotic mom stuff. So pretty excited.
Happy Mother's Day to everyone.
And of course, at nighttime, Haley and I will be doing The Boring Life, where I'm sure we'll get to talk about all the crazy stuff that happened throughout the day.
Crazy. You
can find that on my Facebook page or The Boring Life of Dean and Haley's YouTube channel. Never ends. Never ends. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you back here Monday. We'll be doing this all over again, and hopefully, if you had a bad week this week, you have a better week next week. Yay. Bye guys.